Dude, that's Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
Well, Smylie, we're still decompressing from the Masters. Actually, where we are right now, you and I individually, I'm sure we're decompressing from the Masters in some way. Physically, at time of recording, we're still this is our last act in the Augusta, Georgia
Masters
Airbnb.
Week won't die. It will
Masters
not die.
Week will not die. And I'm kind of glad that it is that way because we had a ton of fun here this week. I'm sad. I'm having a little FOMO, leaving tomorrow morning. But here's the good news is, in addition to us teeing up the episode you're about to watch or listen to in this house, you're about to get something we recorded this week in this very house with the special guest that we're super excited about, Grant Horvat. And we're going to do that tee up with the help of our friends from Ahead, because one of the key parts of Ahead is trust-based relationships, okay? So Ahead builds and manages digital platforms that power the most successful organizations in the world. Their consultative approach, unmatched engineering, and innovative solutions combine to accelerate the impact of technology in every client that they serve. Ahead's long-standing relationships are built on outcomes and experience with both their clients and technology partners. And you can learn more about that at ahead.com. So Smylie, I feel like we got to sit down with Grant a little bit, talk to him, a little bit of a trust-based relationship for him there with Grant this week.
And shout out to Ahead, especially weeks like this at the Masters. I know this episode is not Masters Week, but still, we're so appreciative of all of our sponsors, especially Ahead, to be able to do what we love to do, which is talk golf, travel on the road, get to see some of the best golf tournaments in the world. So we're just super appreciative. And of course, this episode with Grant Horvat, it was a banger. It unfortunately exceeded all of our expectations. Grant was fantastic. We had a great conversation, and I think everybody's going to love it. I know for all of you that watch YouTube, I'm sure you're very familiar with Grant. And for me, just getting to kind of go back and talk to him about the early days of how did you get to, where you're getting 1 million a pop a view on a YouTube video, and just overall kind of give him a sense of, what's next for him, what he has coming up in the cooker. Also got to kind of get some feel on that too, so a lot of fun.
It's an interesting time for golf, and I can say this because Bob Does Sports, Robbie Berger, someone who Grant's collaborated with, but in a week we're coming off of Rory, thanks for all you do for YouTube, with this Masters win, huge for YouTube. It's really interesting to unpack the YouTube side of golf with a guy like Grant who's making huge waves in that space, and a guy who just is really immersed in the art of doing that and interested in the numbers, interested in the strategy, but most of all interested in playing really cool golf with cool people in a lot of cool places. So let's get right into it. Grant Horvat, here we go, and we appreciate Ahead for presenting this conversation.
Welcome back to another episode of The Smylie Show, and this is one Smylie and I are very excited about because we're joined by a special guest here, Grant Horvat. Grant, I could use a lot of identifiers for you. I think the most recent, most notable one is winner of the Creator Classic on the iconic 17th hole at TPC Sawgrass. And we're recording this during Masters Week. Got the par 3 contest today. Little kids running around out there. And I think maybe the best place to start is to go all the way back to the beginning of your journey. Because I know your dad was a PGA pro.
Yeah.
And just your journey in golf. What are some of the first memories you have of picking up a golf club, learning how to play the game with your dad?
Yeah, it's funny because I grew up being around the game so much, and I actually didn't get into golf until I was 13 years old. So it took a while. Like, I remember my dad, him being a pro, he was telling me that I was way behind. And I wanted to play in college right after I started to get the bug. And he's like, you have a ton of work to do to catch up because all these kids have been playing since they're like, 6 and 7 years old, and they're so good by the time they're 13.
That's right.
And I was shooting hundreds, 90s, and I was trying to play catch up. But yeah, no, it definitely started to grind after that, and loved the game ever since then.
Did you play other sports growing up before?
It did. Yeah. You wouldn't think, boy.
Well, you're tall. I mean, my first instinct would have said you
Depends on the sports.
You definitely hooped maybe a little bit.
Yeah, so I played basketball.
Okay.
Yeah, I played basketball, but I don't know. I think when you just play golf, you I was watching videos of me running when I was young, and I actually looked like kind of like an athlete.
Okay.
look at myself now and I'm like, what happened? Like, where did we go wrong? But yeah, no, I did play basketball until I was like 13 years old.
All right, so you said hundreds and 90s, and this around 13 years old when you get started. So when did we start to see improvement? You said you wanted to go play college golf. I mean, to make a college golf team, you need to be breaking 90. So where did we finally kind of get over the hump here?
Yeah, no, we just put in a ton of time and a ton of work. My dad, being a pro, we had the correct fundamentals right off the rip. So it was like,
Good place to
he was
start.
a big grip, like all about the grip. And you see Scotty
You and
Scheffler.
Scotty. I was about to say, you and
yeah.
Scotty.
No, like my dad was obsessed with the grip. Like I feel like truly, I think my dad would walk up to Rory McIlroy on the range right now and check his grip. Or like if he saw Rory,
He's got a good grip.
like,
He's got a really good grip.
I know he's got a good grip, but my dad would be like, I think we can get it like more in the fingers or something. He would like actually like take his
Yeah,
hands.
well, all right. So how did he tell you how to grip the golf club?
So he was real big about getting it in the fingers. So he always wanted to make sure it went from this little crease here into here. So on this angle.
That's right.
And then it was always slightly strong. So like a little bit strong. You could see a couple knuckles. So he wanted that like basically textbook.
You don't want to grip it in the palm.
Right. So he was because when people start golfing, they immediately put it in the palm.
Yes.
And then the club like rolls and they kind of boat. Like they're like, you ever see like people
Yeah,
that
well,
just start?
You know, guys like Colin Morikawa who bow the crap out of their wrists, they typically have weak grips.
Right.
They don't grip it as much in the fingers. I'm sure they do a little bit, but
I think they do it in a different way, though. They
Yeah.
at least still like hint. I think like when you start out, you kind of go like it's so heavy when it's in the paw,
Sorry, that's
and they
right.
just like dead shut, and they can't even get it airborne. So my dad, you can kind of see it on the range when someone's gripping it like up in here. But hey, there's been people that have gripped it in the palm, like Mo Norman, and I think Bryson's a little bit more in the palm.
his grip is surprisingly weak.
It is.
Like when
very
I looked
weak.
at it at US Open last year, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It blew me away. I mean, I know he's basically gripping, 7 grips. These things are massive, these jumbo grips that he has, but still, it shocked me. It was like on this side of it, I was like, oh my God, and he gets a draw.
Yeah. I went to Albany with him for like 2 days when we were filming. And I was hitting his clubs and I loved them. Like,
Really?
Yeah, it was like I started to hit him. Like I was like one after the other. And this was like a year and a half ago now. He was playing actually pings at the time. And I was hitting them so good. And I was like, I don't think I can do it.
So
Like,
was this pre, roll bulge or whatever?
Yes,
What,
yeah,
that was
so-
the debut. Wasn't that here last year at the Masters? I think.
yeah, or like I think that's like is that a Japanese company?
a Vodo or something. I've got no idea.
When I tried to do research on it, because I was covering him for the Masters last year, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to explain this to people?
And we tried poorly, but we got it across. So this is kind of fascinating, Grant, because I think this segues into something you're doing more of right now. That Grant teaches golf, sort of vertical in the YouTube space. And is the whole teaching thing? Is that born out of the relationship you had with your dad? Have you pursued other sort of educational pieces of becoming a PGA pro on the side to make this whole thing go, or how did this whole thing come about?
Yeah. So that's pretty minimal at this point. I had a second channel. So we have our main channel where we put all of our videos that are like our biggest videos. And we've gotten very, very selective over time. And then we have our second channel, which was the teaching channel, but we've actually now changed the name. So now it's just Grant Horvat Golf 2. So it's now it's kind of just content that it's not quite our main channel. And so now it's more, I've kind of gotten away from the teaching per se. I still love to do it. I think it's really hard with how much focus we put into the main channel right now to even have time to go do teaching videos.
Yeah.
Could you fix Bob's swing? Just curious.
I've tried. Yeah, he actually has a coach. So,
Oh, he does have a coach.
he does have a coach. So he's had a coach for the last year, I think.
Because he plays on, he plays in front of so many people that watch. At some point, you got to think, God, I need to work at this.
So he actually, he told me the other day. So he just got a membership in Jupiter at a really nice course. And he told me the other day he thinks he's hit more balls than Ricky Fowler in Jupiter this year. Like he has been going.
Ricky doesn't hit that many balls.
Yeah, he's been grinding on the range. Now, he showed up with that drill. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, it's amazing. I saw it this morning.
Want to play roulette? Here's a tip. European roulette has a lower house edge than American style. The lower the house edge, the better shot you have at winning. Most online casinos offer European roulette. So, if I were you, I'd get spinning. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Okay, what tools can you use to measure those things a bit? And that's where you have like force plates and 3D motion and you know, launch monitors, things like that. But that's all just sort of like measuring what's happening. That doesn't necessarily explain why one guy's really good and another guy's not really good. And that's where there's still kind of like this ongoing, how do you like continue to do research to understand that better? And I think that's going to last well past my lifetime.
The Smylie Show, only on SportsGrid.
I'm still optimistic eventually this will happen and they'll get it together. I mean, if Florida can get their act together, Sam, with the tribes, I believe that California can too.
It would bring a lot of money to the tribes, which is also something they really care about. It's an $8 billion market. Conservatively, it could be even more when it legalizes. The sports books would be sharing revenue with the tribes, essentially doing all their operations and forking over a percentage directly to the tribes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
King of the featherweight division for the BKFC, that is King Kai Stewart, who is joining us now, still the champion of the featherweights.
Though he did get dominated, he was still throwing big shots. He landed a lot bigger shots on Palomino than he did me, and I wasn't really impressed. Palomino's getting older. He is definitely a former GOAT. He has done amazing things in this sport, but it's just my time.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, so as we wind down this interview, this has been a great conversation. I got a couple more questions as we get out the door. Favorite collab that you've done to this point and your dream collab that you have on your radar?
Yeah. So, favorite collab, I'm going to say the Phil Mickelson, my first ever match with Phil. So he tricked me on the first hole. Said there's like these gnarly flyers out of the rough here at this course. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, they're like gnarly here. And so like I went and I took like less club or I don't remember exactly how it went. Dead flyers. Oh yeah. It was dead flyers. Okay, so yeah, let's like.
What does that even mean? What is a dead flyer?
It's like it comes out like dead.
Oh,
like
okay,
it's gonna come out short.
Oh, and now
so I went to go get so I went to go get more club. So I was like, he's like they come out dead out of this room, and I went and got more club and flew the green OB on the first hole of our match.
Was this Rancho Santa Fe?
This was.
All right, so I played the U.S. Junior there back when I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
So that's like it's a short par 4 uphill that second shot. And then there's that, I guess it's a road or back there?
Yeah. Oh, I was on the road. I was deep
man.
On the road. Yeah, that's a fun course. That's a really fun course.
It's a great course.
So, yeah, the first time I ever filmed with Phil tricked me into that. And that was like kind of his first time on YouTube, truly. And so, yeah, that was awesome. I would say that was my favorite collab I've ever done. Now I've had I love the JT one we just did. That was awesome. JT chipped in on the final hole.
It was great. Like, because he kind of went in YouTube mode there, didn't he?
He did. Like, he was talking to the camera. Like, he knew what he was doing, you know?
Yeah.
He was ready for it. We had such a great day. And, like, it was really cool because JT lives in Jupiter. And so he's, like, right down the street. And, like, you would think I'm always filming in Jupiter with all the guys, but that was, like, the first time I've ever filmed in Jupiter with someone. Like, just, yeah.
You know the JT, he was a content creator back in 2016. Like JT, Jordan, Ricky,
we talked about it. We talked about it. You happen to be a part of that.
We walked so you could run.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you actually started golf content creation. If it wasn't for you guys.
How old would you have been in 2016?
Yeah, I was still in diapers. Yeah, I was.
I'm over here. I'm looking every morning. I'm like, God, there's another gray hair.
No, 2016. Man, I was in high school. I graduated in 2017. So I'm probably like 16 years old.
So you had Snapchat. You're probably vibing with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I was watching the entire thing. thing. Yeah. It was. And people they still talk about it. Like it still gets aired.
Wild.
It was so cool. You guys were at Baker's Bay, right?
That's right.
That's awesome.
Allegedly.
Yeah. we won't talk about it. But dream collab, I would say, would be Phil and I versus Tiger and Charlie.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and that is for sure the one we're working on.
Okay.
So,
love that.
We'll see. We'll see.
We need to get that Achilles right. I'm sure Charlie's ready to run out the door and go play.
Oh yeah. Charlie's awesome. Yeah, we actually play a good bit together in Jupiter. Playing with him Friday.
Great.
Actually. So he's awesome, and we have a great time together. And he's maturing and getting so much better at golf. I was actually, when I did the video with Tiger, we got to talk about Charlie for a little bit before the video started, and like he's just growing up super fast and hitting the ball so far. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun hanging with him. But that would be our dream collab for sure.
Can we get a quick broomstick report before we head out? I'm a notorious putter tinker on the show, and I really love to dive into what people are using.
Yeah.
We saw that big birdie putt on 17 at Sawgrass. Yeah. How are we feeling about the switch to the broom?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm telling you one thing. I don't make that putt if I'm not using a broomstick. Yeah,
the hands wouldn't have been there, huh?
Oh, sweeper!
Put you on the sweeper.
Hold on,
That's right.
the sweeper. I'm about to get.
It
is a sweeper.
Who put you on the sweeper?
So yeah, the main reason I switched to the sweeper, I filmed with Adam Scott. So me and Adam. That was also a great one. Like
Adam's the best.
It's so hard to pick one of the collabs. Like I feel like I just nailed Phil, but like there are so many great ones. Like Adam was so fun to be around. The coolest guy. Like, dude, he's just got this way about him, and his swing and everything was so cool. But yeah, him using the long putter, the way he uses it, it's actually like, I think he looks the most comfortable out of anybody I've ever seen using it. Akshay's doing great with it too.
Is he putting good?
Yeah. But Adam, I think even I was with Akshay the other day, and he literally said like he's trying to even feel more probably like Adam, just because Adam, he takes it so long, and he's like, it's like a pendulum. And the weight of the putters, they're so heavy, these sweepers. So you kind of just use the weight of the putter. Once you get this comfortable, I like to feel this elbow actually point towards the target. Akshay was saying, like, right when I switched to it, he texted me like the next day and was like, make sure when you're using the sweeper that you basically, when you get it here, you point your elbow.
Down the target line.
This has to go down the target line, this left elbow. And he said, make sure your head stays still. So those are the 2 points he gave me. Because if your head moves, it actually changes the plane. Yeah, or you can do a lot of things. Yeah. But it's been a great switch for me. I've noticed tons of improvement, especially I always find myself in these super stressful, just pressure moments. And like, it was the one reason like why I didn't want to like play competitive golf or go pro, because like I was like, I'm not huge into like the real serious competitive like pro events. Like it's too much, like everyone's quiet. I'm very competitive, and I like playing matches with like my friends, but it just feels like now I'm always finding myself, whether it's a 2v2 with Phil, like I have a huge putt and Phil's like, come on, Grant, like be good, like be great. And I'm like, holy crap. Like I'm like sitting there like, how do I be great? Like I don't even, and yeah. So like, and it seems like the sweeper, it's just like when I'm shaking over the ball, like it helps, man.
Really?
Like it really, yeah, it's truly helped me a ton.
Do you have any desire to ever play in a PGA Tour event?
That's a great question. Can I talk about it?
Yeah. Go for it.
So I recently got an invite into the Barracuda.
Come on.
Yeah.
Reno.
Yeah, it's yeah. So amazing. It's really cool. But I don't know where I'm at right now on it.
If you're going to accept,
what do you think about?
What do you mean? If you're going to,
I don't know if I'm like, I don't know if I'm there. I feel like it's a little bit. I don't know. Like I'll see where my game progresses maybe over the next little bit.
What do you need to see? Is it more so? Do you want to be competitive, or do you just want to just check the box?
Yeah, it's definitely so. Like I said, I've never expected this. Like.
fantasy baseball. Let's be honest, George. There's a lot of things antiquated about this game that we love. Man, like I would love to try some new little wrinkles here. And so for Sam's question here on the show, I think it's at least fair to ask the question, with catchers in fantasy baseball, and sometimes we're playing in 2 catcher leagues. Why at this stage of the game? I have no idea. If you're still doing it, you're behind in the times. Buy or sell, catchers should get a fantasy point for throwing out runners trying to steal. So essentially awarding a defensive play to get an offensive point in fantasy. You're going to buy or sell this?
I mean, so this didn't even cross my mind. I hate the catcher position because they get hurt so much. You play in a 2-catcher league, I don't know what to tell you. You know, it's like, what are we doing here? There are not 24, assuming a 12-team league, there are not 24 catchers to draft in baseball. It's just not. Although I'm the first person to tell you, Herrera's probably out there in a bunch of leagues there because we didn't see that power coming. Should he get a point? I think if you're going to do this, by the way, why a point? What are you throwing out? 1, 2 base runners a week? It's 2 points. Who cares? You know, should it be more? I mean, if we're going to do this, should we do it right? Should it be 5 points? You know, so I would probably go that direction. If you're going to do it right. Give it more points. And by the way, then let's go further. You make an error, you're losing points. No one gets an error anymore. All right, if you get an error, it means you really screwed up. I was watching that Yankee-Pittsburgh game yesterday because I think it was who cares? Somebody hit the ball hard to Isaiah Khalifa at shortstop. He didn't have to move. But he dropped it. They called it a hit because he hit the ball hard with 3-hopper. Oh, hard hit, error. So let's do that too. So yeah, I'm kind of on board with this, but you need more than one. It can't just be a point that's meaningless. You need more than one.
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Only on SportsGrid.
The Creator Classic was the most nervous I've ever been. You know, I stood up there was like 2,000 people waiting on the first tee. I don't know how.
And it's not an easy tee shot.
No, it's not. And I'm like,
it's actually a nightmare.
Yeah, and I'm freaking out. And I'm like, I'm over that ball about to like drop dead. Like my heart is like out of my chest. And I'm like literally thinking about why I like stopped competitive golf. I'm like, this feeling like I can't feel anything right now. And I'm just like, anywhere, like just get it out there. And yeah, so I made contact, which was great. And somehow shot even par. Like looking back at it, I always talk to Josh and I'm like, how did we actually win that? Like I rarely beat George or Wes. And I'm like, how did we do that? Wow. And especially making the putt on 17, like that just fired me up. Yeah, because it was like, I didn't want to just lag it up there. Like it was a huge breaking putt left to right. Yeah. And we made it. But that was like my most recent taste of like true competition and like getting in there. And it's definitely a tough one. I just don't know where I'm at right now.
Do you worry, like when you're weighing pros and cons, are you worried about like detriment to brand versus like continued exposure? Because like I guess I just wonder, you've had a pretty amazing exposure across the board to build the audience you have. So at this point, it feels like it's more about a managing your brand type situation. Is that a right way to think about it?
Yeah, that's definitely a great way to put it. It's not that, I truly believe in my game and I think I'm not going to shoot some crazy high score like I did at Quail. But
definitely not a teaser.
No. But I'll tell you one thing. When you play with the pros, you just realize how much better they are. And it's hard for me to play with the John Rahms and the Phils and all these guys and sit there and be like, I'm going to go tee it up and even just give it a go. Like they're so good at golf. And it's like, yeah, I'll hit a lot of high quality golf shots, as Wesley would say. He always like tries to hype me up and be like, you hit just as many high quality shots, but it's truly a whole nother level. And it's just hard for me like to even put myself, because I didn't expect it. Mm-hmm. Obviously the invite. So I'm definitely, I got to process it.
It's like watching this guy play.
Yeah, Charlie,
I've seen him hit some pretty dang good.
Yeah, help me out here, Charlie. So Grant, as we all know, with the matches with the PGA Tour pros, gives guys 5 shots. Let's say we played straight up. What are you setting the odds?
You two playing straight up.
Oh,
And I'm odds making.
Wait, where's your game at right now?
I've played twice this year, and I can't remember where the first time even was. So I did play Players Week because I saw you in the same day.
Yes, I did. Yeah,
I played great that day, but I don't remember the other time I played this year.
Did you played the Ocean course, the same course
yes,
that I was at?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
We did half shots, which is kind of fun at Tobacco Road. I'm trying to think what I would set you all at for
set
odds.
the odds here.
I mean, I think if you
maybe I start at even, he starts 5 under. Is that where? Just kidding.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't. I would take it.
I think you probably should, out of deference to your PGA Tour winner status and having played in the final group of the Masters, you probably got to cut Grant like 2 aside. Is that right? Or like 3 total? Is that disrespectful? I mean, I don't know.
I bet Smylie would go out there and play great. Like he hasn't played much golf. I feel like you probably have no expectations going into it. You might go out there and sneaky play great, but I would 100%.
Tell you what, I don't know, man. When you get on these big channels now, it brings back the old memories of little scar tissue in there, Grant.
It is funny, I gotta say.
And shipping's harder now than it used to be.
Yeah,
I don't do it as much.
Though, and all the 5 under challenges, I actually was telling JT this on the first hole. Everybody has got off to a rocky start, and it's not like. I don't think,
pressure of YouTube.
No, I would never say that because these guys are all like they're used to this. I just think it's totally different. I think I asked Tony Finau like on the second hole, I was like, were you nervous? He was like, oh yeah. Like I was, because he said his kids watch.
Yeah.
And it's like,
you don't want to get heat.
I think he wanted to be the cool dad. Like
I
think he did it just to be the cool dad, like to go on the channel.
So and these guys don't want to lose either, right?
Right. No, like, Tony, like he doesn't want to lose, but like every single match, like even Adam was like 3 over through 5.
Yeah.
And like I'm just watching these guys and I'm like, because they're also trying to talk to the camera. So there is a big adjustment when you're trying to talk to the camera and explain your shot and then go hit it. But yeah, it is like JT played great. He was like, he kind of beat the, I mean, it actually was pretty close now that I think of it. He was playing, he was like 2 under or something through 3. He was moving and then I think he kind of like, no one's like killed it. Yeah. Like no one's like shot, Morikawa. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Guy's stone cold, man.
Yeah.
All right, well, Grant, Charlie and I are super appreciative, man. You took a lot of time, of course, in a busy schedule that you have, and we learned a lot about you. And I think a lot of folks that tune into our channel are going to love your insights. And of course, we're going to keep an eye on the Barracuda and your course record at Quail Hollow.
Yeah.
So all of these things in the cooker. So Grant, we appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
And we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Here's a tip for my fellow golfers and gamers. Do you want to book a golf trip to Vegas? For the best weather, aim for spring and fall. But the best prices, aim for summer and winter. But if you're looking for that sweet spot, try June. You get the August prices without that scorching heat. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
We know what Chris Sale can bring. I was personally high on Schwallenbach. Smith Chauver, their other starter, looks okay to kind of bad. They need to I don't want to say tread water, so I think that puts it in a bad light, but that's what they ultimately need to do. They need to tread water until Strider gets back, until Acuna gets back, and maybe it's just part of the team morale mentality that we're not at full strength, we need to kick things into gear once those guys get here.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
11 times now without a major, 14 times at the Masters. He finally has the green jacket. Rory McIlroy.
The best sporting event so far this year. It's better than the Super Bowl. It was better than the NCAA tournament. It had ups and downs. It had roller coaster rides. It had history, legacies. It had everything you could ever possibly want.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
King of the featherweight division for the BKFC. That is King Kai Stewart, who is joining us now, still the champion of the featherweight.
Though he did get dominated, he was still throwing big shots. He landed a lot bigger shots on Palomino than he did me, and I wasn't really impressed. Palomino's getting older. He is definitely a former GOAT. He has done amazing things in this sport, but it's just my time.
only on SportsGrid.